Welcome friends to the newest edition of 3 in, 3 out Seahawks What If, the most intriguing and unique Seahawks preview show in the multiverse. I am your host, Clinton Bonner. Come out and join me on Twitter at Clinton Bon. I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz, and find him out on Twitter at SeahawkersPod. And of course, this would not be Seahawks What If without the protector of the Seahawks multiverse. We're talking Mr. Phil Leidick with that sultry background. This is an audio podcast, but you got to believe me, his background is fire. Mr. Phil, it is a new season. It is 2022. We are traversing into the multiverse. We have more nooks and crannies and unknowns than ever before.
Yes.
How are you feeling as we enter the year 2022?
Oh, I mean, are you sure you want to ask me that? I mean, I love the year 2022. I'll just say it's been a great year so far for life. What will the Seahawks year be for 2022? I mean, there is a big spectrum of possibilities, are there not? I heard what Brandon said last week, and that was the thing I agreed with most. There's one way to really mess this up, and that's to win quite a few games, but not enough to get in the playoffs. For me, you can win on the other sides of that either way. You can win by getting top 5 pick. You can win by getting in the playoffs. But 7 or 8 wins, not quite getting in there. That's the way that we lose by winning. And so that's just my thoughts about the season. I don't know if that's what you were asking. I know that's not a what if thing, but that was the key thing I honed in on that I said, absolutely, Brandon, that is right. That's the bullseye we don't want to hit.
Hey, I was right about something.
Yeah, wait, talking about sucking or being great. Brandon, how are you feeling as we enter 2022 here, my man?
Let's see. You don't want to be great at sucking. I'm doing fine. I'm not going to think about it too much.
There it is. So for those that don't know What If yet, maybe it's your first time through it all. It's a Seahawks preview show. We'll do this every single week, hopefully for the 3 preseason games we shall see. And then certainly every week in the regular season, and of course as we enter the postseason this year. And it is a unique way where Mr. Phil, the protector, comes up with, I would call them themes, right? Well, they are themes, right, Phil? He comes up with themes for the game and asks these very specific questions, and Brandon and I don't know what they're going to be, and we have to just weigh in and we have to opine and see what happens. And then sometimes it comes out and these things actually come to life, and they come to fruition.
Sometimes we can predict the future.
Sometimes we can predict.
Well, these futures all happen somewhere. That's the whole idea. You know, that's with the multiverse.
Yeah.
But
which timeline do we find ourselves in this coming week?
here's an integrity question that just popped in my mind as you were speaking, Clinton. Does that mean I have to be certain not to share the questions with you ahead of time? Like, are the listeners counting on this fact that I'm going to surprise you every time? I will never give you a heads up. Is that what we're saying here?
No, there's no rules here. That's all good. So, sometimes
I want to keep the integrity up. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to give a little bit of, hey, we're going to be discussing this generically, brush up on this a little bit. That's okay. Those are breadcrumbs. Okay. They're trails to the treasure. It's not, hey, we're going to ask you these 4 questions. I do the same thing to Brandon sometimes on 3 and 3 out. I'm like, hey, be prepared to talk about this a little bit. We're kind of going this direction, but never give away the whole ghost. There is the key.
Well, my name's not Bill Belichick. I want to follow the rules. So I was just double checking with you. Go ahead.
That's great. Hey, Brandon, before we do get going, by the way, can you remind the good folks, maybe they are hearing this for the first time, and we've had a bit of a watershed or new things happening. Maybe folks should know about where they can get all the great content.
Yes, you can find our shows up on YouTube. You can go to Seahawkerspodcast.com and you can subscribe either through Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all kinds of places where you get your podcasts. And if you want to become a member of the flock and help to support this crazy stuff we all do, you can go to getintheflock.com, or I should mention too, you can support via YouTube now.
Tons of ways to get it on there, and we got so much content coming out. And Phil, when you texted us earlier through Twitter, you're like, "Hey, we're gonna do one for preseason game 1." I was like, "Yes, we are, Phil." So, what are you laying on us this week, Mr. Phil, the Protector?
Well, I'm glad it worked out. Good to kick off the what if season with some what if preseason. And there's really a spectrum of what if when you're talking about preseason, because all kinds of happenings might take place. Both teams with 90-man rosters. Who knows what'll happen? Who knows what'll happen? Both teams with new quarterback situations and all. So a fascinating game really to get ready for. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Maybe not everybody knows this, and it's very helpful on podcasts, I must say, is that I have a limited ability to do sign language. So I can do some interpreting. That's going to be really useful for podcasting, I found, especially the audio version. But you might say I have a tiny vocabulary. It's not a big one. I can interact with some deaf folks and with some that know ASL to a point. You might say I have a tiny vocabulary with my hands. This week, the Seahawks play someone with actual tiny hands. Mr. Tiny Hands Pickett himself, their quarterback. And so the question, the what if category today is, what if Tiny Hands can give us a sign? What if Tiny Hands can give us a sign? I do believe I went back. This is the real episode 25, odd number. So we'll get it started off right this year. And if we do all three preseason, it'll mean Clinton will get the first shot at the first game. But the first preseason will start with Brandon. What if Tiny Hands can give us a sign? We're going to start with thumbs here. What if we can give a Seahawks quarterback a big thumbs up? I know a lot of us are looking at this first game, going to watch some new quarterback play, something we haven't done in some 10 years. What if we can give a Seahawks quarterback a big thumbs up, Brandon? What does Drew need to do to earn a thumbs up from you?
I think the biggest thing that we need to see from Drew is just avoiding any kind of turnovers. For my expectation, and I hope I'm not getting into any questions later on, but my expectation is for Drew Lock to be the second quarterback, the second team quarterback out there. They're going to give the first opportunity to Geno against the Steelers, despite anything that happened in the mock game. And so he's going to be out there going up against the second team. It's that Steelers defense. And yeah, they're going to be the second teamers, but Mike Tomlin knows how to coach some defense. And so this is going to be a test, I think, for Drew Lock to not put too much pressure on himself, not try and win the job just by playing this first preseason game. And so take the checkdowns where you need to take the checkdowns, avoid the big turnovers. And I think that's going to get him a thumbs up from me.
All right, Clinton, are you looking for him to handle the pass rush or the accuracy of throws? What kinds of things are you looking for the big thumbs up for Drew this week?
Yeah, man. So hold me closer, Tony Danza. I am, as Brandon knows, and Phil, I think you know as well, I am on the Drew Lock train. Last week, I think Brandon was almost convincing me that he was right, that Geno was going to start. And I hope Brandon's wrong, because I don't want to be boring. Boring is kind of like, I don't want to be in the middle. I don't want to be 6, 7, 8 wins. I'd rather suck or be great kind of year. So to be less great at sucking, I want Drew Lock to use the middle of the field. I want to see the antithesis of the Russell Carrington-Wilson era, right? Where the heat maps don't lie, data don't lie. He would just not use the middle of the field. Drew Lock seems to like the middle of the field. He seems to like to get out on the edge. He seems to like the RPO concepts. And then he likes the drag routes, right? We're seeing it already. Noah Fant over the middle. Tyler, DK down the seam. I want to see the middle of the field glowing red Predator style. And that will own a big thumbs up from me for Drew Lock. That will earn a big thumbs up from me for Drew Lock. QB1 wearing number 2.
Very good, Clint. Yeah, if everybody thinking of hands, you just turn your hand over and lower those, the ring and the middle finger, and you got the rock on sign, but you also have left a pinky and a pointer finger sticking out. That's your Russell Wilson heat map right there. And that whole area in between, we sure would like to see a quarterback start using that. And good thoughts on that. So we didn't touch on Geno right away. I want to give that the second. How can Geno, I don't even know if he can in Clinton's case, but what could Geno do to earn a thumbs up from you this weekend? Or is that even possible? Is there a way that you could say, awesome job, Geno, double thumbs up for you, Clinton?
No, he can. This is not like this is, hey, if Geno's the starter week 1 versus the Broncos, and I don't want it to happen, but if he is, and let's go Geno. Yeah, I think it's going to be pace, and like I want to see him do the more dynamic thing. I don't want a lot of the checkdowns, all the easy street stuff. I want to see the pace of the offense up tempo and kind of humming. It's going to be like, hate to get all crass here, but I think it's the old political. They were debating in Congress, like, what defines pornography, and the senator said, you know it when you see it, right? So it's going to be a feel type thing. Do we have the right feel? Are we vibing? Are we moving with purpose and quickness down the field? Yes. If he does that, early against whatever Pittsburgh's going to have out there as their best, they're essentially their best players, that would earn me that thumbs up and say, okay, you're back in the running for sure.
How about you, Brandon? How can Geno get a big thumbs up from you this weekend?
Yeah, similar to what Clinton said, I do want to just get that sense that he owns this offense, that he is out there and leading the team, because I don't expect Drew to have that quite yet. And so I'm not going to look for that in terms of a thumbs up. But Geno, he's been with the team. He knows all the parts and pieces. I want to feel that from him. And I want to see him lead a touchdown drive in the first 2 or 3 series. And if he
always want to see that.
I do.
Whoever your quarterback is.
It just goes to, I'm always a guy who likes to watch the offense start the game with a lead. And I think that's going to be important when it comes to the regular season and Geno starting week 1, because I just don't see any of the quarterbacks on this team leading comeback victory type drives throughout the season with regularity. So I think getting up on teams, it's going to be incredibly important for the Seahawks offense. That way you can dial in the running game and just pound the rock throughout the game. And yeah, I want to see some touchdown drives from Geno this week.
Cool. Yeah, I don't have negative questions about Drew and Geno. So just quickly, what concerns you more on your quarterback? If they can't handle pressure or they can't throw accurate? Just quickly, Brandon Clinton, can't handle pressure or can't throw accurate. What bothers you more, Brandon?
Ooh, those are both equally bothersome things. I think if you can't handle pressure, then that's going to lead to inaccuracy. So I would be more concerned with the inability to handle pressure, because for one, I think that there will be some growing pains with young tackles, despite the fact that Cross is a top 10 pick. I still think we're going to see some struggles there.
Oh yeah. How about you, Clinton? Which one's tougher for you?
I'll take the other side just because it's not so much tougher. It's like, because Brandon said that very well over there. It's also annoying when a play is drawn up the right way and sketched up the right way, and then the timing's off. They see it late, and it's like, man, oh man, why are you seeing this late? You're the professional out there. In terms of escapability, I think Drew has more of it over Geno. I think he's going to be shiftier in the pocket, be able to make more plays off script. So like if he does that and then is inaccurate after buying himself some time, the frustration will creep.
Well, let's move to the next category. I was just curious as we're watching what's going to be the most bothersome. It's supposed to be a thumbs up question.
Frustrating. I mean, Clinton nailed it, because man, if you have all the time in the pocket, you drop back and then you airmail your receiver by 5 yards and he's wide open. That's really frustrating.
That's probably true.
Whereas you can kind of understand some inaccuracy when a guy's running for his life.
It'd be like when Jimmy G airmailed the ball in the Super Bowl when they had an easy walk-in touchdown, and he blew it by like 7 to 10 yards because he's Jimmy G. Like, it'd be like that, but with your team.
I think both of these guys are capable of doing that, probably.
For sure.
All right, next question. We're going to go for thumbs down. We're going to try to be mostly done with Drew and Geno from this point out, but what if we give some Hawks a thumbs down? I hate to ask that, but we're going to consider some defense here. This is to Brandon. What could the defensive players do in a preseason game to prompt a big thumbs down from you? Like, you just don't want to see your defensive players, and I'm going to focus players because we have another question. You don't want to see your defensive players do during a preseason game. Brandon?
The thing that I don't want to see in this preseason game against the Steelers is the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, whether it's Pickett, whether it's Mason Rudolph, whether it's who's the actual starter,
Trubisky, maybe
Trubisky, yeah. If he's going to play,
Bubby Brister.
Now you got me trying to think of other Pittsburgh quarterbacks beyond Bubby Brister.
Beal O'Donnell.
Yeah, that was a Super Bowl quarterback, right?
I don't want to see any of these guys back there with a ton of time. Like if they're back there and have a clean pocket, if in the preseason our pass rushers aren't getting to the quarterback at all, that will give me an easy reason to thumbs down this defense.
How about you, Clinton? Some defensive players in the game, they're just not doing something. They'll give you a big thumbs down.
Brandon definitely still answer. If this was the feud, Brandon's got the number one answer on the board, right? And he gets to choose to play or not.
Failed pass rush. Yeah.
Yes. However, to extend on that a little bit, it's for me, it's always up the gut, right? It's going to be like, how's that new defensive line look in terms of run stuffing? Because hey, Najee Harris and team and a Tomlin-led team, they're going to run the ball. And with these young quarterbacks, they will run the ball. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? So if we're just getting blown off, or worse yet, we have like young defensive ends, which we do kind of across the board, and they, even if they are generating pass rush, if they're not successful holding that edge and just see Najee going around the edge over and over and over again, or getting sealed and he's going right between the tackles, or off tackle. That's going to be a big thumbs down as well. And you will see Mafe out there, and Taylor is a freak athlete. He's on a track to probably get 10 plus sacks this year, if not a lot more. I think he's pretty good against the run from what I saw last year, but it's going to be interesting to see younger defensive ends, because I like the middle, but if our defensive ends are not really showing up in the run game, it's going to be a bit of a, we're missing something there still.
Good answer. And theoretically, a 3-4, rumor has it, stats say when you run a 3-4, it's a little tougher to handle the tough smash mouth run game in that system, which moves into kind of the other thumbs down for Quentin. What could the coaching staff do in this first preseason game to earn a big thumbs down? And I'll let you pick offense or defense, however, but the coaching staff just does some stuff that just really bothers you in a preseason game, Clinton.
I'll go very specific because I've heard the rumors of like Ken Walker maybe getting kickoff returns. No.
Okay.
I'll be hyper specific. No.
Not your thing.
I don't know. We have dudes for that. You throw D. Eskridge back there. Throw Bo Melton back there.
I don't think D's playing. Is he?
Well, he's got his pads on at this point. I'm not sure he's prepping to play the game yet. Hopefully he is. But there's guys who can go do that in a preseason game. I don't want to see Ken Walker taking kickoffs. No, thank you. No.
Even in a preseason game?
No. Especially in a preseason game. No. The dude's going to get hit. We talked about, the running back position and why folks like Deebo Samuel were like, yeah, you're going to have to change, pay me what I'm going to get paid. And I don't want to run the ball like this anymore. They have the shortest careers. They take the most pain, the most hits by far. No, thank you. Let that guy hopefully have 4 to 6, 7 years as a running back on Seattle, and never let him touch the ball as a kickoff guy. I don't want to see him do that one time, take a shot to the head, if we don't see him till week 6. No thanks.
How about you, Brandon? What could the coaching staff? Maybe you go play caller. I didn't say play caller, but any of those guys in that area making decisions for personnel or plays, what kind of things would make you give them a big thumbs down in a preseason game?
I think the thing for me, and I think part of it is just because of what I want to see in the preseason. I don't want to go real run heavy in this game against the Steelers. For one, I think that they would maybe even struggle against a defensive line led by the Steelers, because I have respect for their defense. Mostly, though, selfishly, I want to see lots of passing from Geno Smith and Drew Lock. And so if we get out of this game and each guy has like 10 attempts tops from Lock and Geno Smith, then I'm gonna be disappointed. I would thumbs down that.
I could see that. Although you do want to see a little bit of Ken Walker. I just know you want to see a little.
I do want to see some Ken Walker. I would even be fine with watching him take some kickoff returns.
No, but I do want to say it, Brandon. Your answer though, Brandon. It's great. I think it would be so frustrating, right? To be like, okay, the game ends. And it's like, oh, Locke was 5 for 8 and like you said, whatever.
Yeah, for 60 yards.
Play it the other way where they didn't get a chance because you ran the ball so frequently. We have to see what's what from the QB position. If we don't start to get that out of this, it's only 3 of these. It's a huge opportunity miss.
I think it's important. Yeah, I don't want to see any pennies.
Well, it's
unless
important
it's
for
hard.
us, but I mean, Pete Carroll sees these guys in practice, and maybe he wants to hold on to that sense of mystery going into week 1 of the season as to who's going to be who. But I know, just as fans, we want to see for ourselves and determine who the guys should be going into that first game.
They can throw all they want as long as it's not to DK and Tyler in the preseason game 1, right? I mean, we really want to see DK and Tyler out there much?
Nah, we don't need to see that.
Okay. Last one, we had a thumbs up, then a thumbs down. I want to go real positive here because thinking about Tiny Hands giving us a sign. What if this game can get you to raise a perfect 10? And I can't even do it. I don't have 9 fingers, but Jazz Hands. I mean, you're stoked. Jazz Hands. What player might earn Jazz Hands in this game, and what will he need to do to earn it? And I think we go back to Brandon to start this one off. What player could just get some out and out perfect 10? You're just excited. And then what might he be doing to earn it? Anybody you're thinking of, you just want to see something awesome. What player, Brandon?
I think I'm going to go based off of the hype coming out of the mock game. I'm going to go with Tariq Woolen.
Yeah.
Because from all accounts, and yes, okay, he allowed the 1 touchdown pass to Cody Thompson, but I saw the replay of that, and Cody Thompson was lying on the ground. Woolen had essentially broken up the pass, and it just happened to fall into Thompson's hands while he was on the ground. So I'm not going to hold that one against him. He was thoughtful about it in the post-game press conference when he was talking about that particular play. But the fact that he got to play with the first team defense in that, I think we're going to get to see a lot of him. I'm not expecting him to be the week 1 starter or anything, but I just want to see, based on the level of talent that he has, I want to see him out there, and I want to see him work into that starting role. I hope he gets it. Again, no expectations, but if he goes out there and he shows us some pass breakups, maybe even some picks, that's going to give me some Tariq Woolen Jazz Hands.
Nice. How about you, Clinton?
That's nice. His wingspan is so huge. Imagine his Jazz Hands off the screen with this guy, right? Just he's something, man. He's a specimen. Real fun to watch, and you get to watch some of the OK video that got out there from the practice, the mock game, and it was cool to see him, man. That guy can just absolutely, he covers ground crazy fast. So good answer there. I'm going to give 2 quick ones. I'm going to go to one side of the ball, then the other side of the ball. I will start with the offense. I am a believer still in beefy boy Phil Haynes because he's good every single time they put him in wherever they're putting him. Guard, backup center, tackle if he has to go play. I'd like to see Phil Haynes get out there and just continue.
He's the best Phil on the show. He's the best Phil on the show. Is Phil Haynes, apparently.
He's the best Phil on the line. I'll at least get there, right? And at the end of the year, when Rashad Penny was going friggin' bonkers, Phil Haynes and Jake Curran were 2 of the dudes blowing holes open. Haynes is good every single chance he gets. So I'd like to see, can he put the pressure on in some ways for more of a battle on the offensive line? And that includes maybe for center with Austin Blythe. On the flip side, defensively, I talked about it last preseason. Miles Adams is a better football player, in my opinion, than LJ Collier. Different football player, more quick, could be more disruptive, can cause more pressure from inside, inside just bunched up in that 3-4 now. Even more imperative to get some rush from those 3 guys. I want to see Miles Adams show out to make it like, hey, I'm making this team and I'm earning more time this year. So those are my 2 dogs.
Cool. That's going to be a battle right there. And that's going to be a battle in a lot of positions on the defense to make the team even. Well, last question here on this part of Jazz Hands Perfect 10. What do you need to see, Clinton, from the draft class to feel this draft can potentially become a 10? We've talked about some of the rookies. I mean, I think we're all stoked about actually seeing our rookies go against another team. But what do you want to see from this class overall? We haven't really touched much on some of the linemen, so maybe you want to go there. But where are you thinking that they might have the potential to really be a full-on 10 draft class, Clinton?
Yeah, and it's the more you look back at this draft class, obviously time will tell, as it often does. It is, and it's more and more exciting. It's we have the very big time potential of starting defensive end, 2 starting tackles on offense, a starting cornerback or 2, right? It's super exciting. The obvious one you just mentioned, it's a good one, but the offensive line ones I'll leave to the side. Certainly we'll be watching that. I'm going to go more towards the Kobe Bryant. Can Kobe be the cornerback 1 that I think lots of folks now think he can be? And it was interesting listening to the mock game where Tariq got the call to be the next guy up, and it seems to be because the Seahawks really want to keep Kobe on one side and Tariq on the other side. So it was like, all right, Tariq's guy was out, right? So Sidney Jones has a concussion, throw Tariq in it, and then Artie Burns was still there. I kind of like to see the opposite in the game here. I want to see lots of Bryant, and I want to see him get targeted. And if he could be what we all think he is, what he showed in Cincinnati, what he's showing already in the camp, we're going towards a 10 there, man. If it's like, hey, we got a starting either shutdown or just solid corner where we did with him, that'd be getting us real close, getting us closer, marching towards that 10.
I know it's a question with a lot of holes, Brandon, because obviously we can't possibly know that in one preseason or the whole preseason. But what kind of sparks, what kind of signs, if that's what it's about, what kind of signs would you be looking for to see this could really lift off toward a 10 from the draft class, Brandon?
I go right to Ken Walker because I think that his role in this offense is going to be so important. And yes, I would like to see Rashad Penny be the type of guy that we expect, but I think the ability to be more dynamic as an offense rests on a Ken Walker that's, I mean, just watching his run into the end zone and doing the little stutter step and breaking it to the outside and going in untouched in the mock game, that got me excited. It has me excited for the running game. Again, they have to be able to put a competent run game on the field for Drew Lock or Geno Smith to have any kind of success this season. And so I'd hate to put all of that on Penny. You got the guy at the top of the second round for a reason. Let's see some sparks from Ken Walker.
And our new O-line is going to hopefully play somewhat of a role in that. We don't know what they can do in the run game. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Much to look forward to watch. I'm hoping the whole team speed. I'm hoping the team just looks faster because we've infused all these young guys. Just get a feel like that, like we used to in the preseason. Like we've got the athletes out there against this other team. That'd be cool to see.
Pete said that this was going to be a fast team. So let's see it.
Prediction time, guys. What kind of scoring do you expect in this one? How many points do you think will be? Maybe that's for your other show, Clinton. I don't know, but what kind of score might you expect to see in this preseason one?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a stab. I don't. Preseason games tend to be, if you look at Vegas, it's all we have the gambling show coming out, right, as part of the network now, PNW Prop Stars. And if you go investigate over-unders across the board, Vegas tends to think, especially game 1 in the preseason, that it'll be really low scoring. So you see over-unders that are like 38, 37.5, 35. So Vegas is predicting lots of more defense on offense and sluggishness probably, right? So Vegas typically is right because they're good at the numbers. I'm going to go, let's go with a simple 20-15 Seahawks victory. Seahawks dub to take it home, 20-15.
Ooh, getting a dub. All right. I'm going to say that their one touchdown is a defensive touchdown. They kick 3 field goals on offense. So what's that? 16. And we lose by a point to the Steelers.
16-17 Steelers. All right, gentlemen, anything else we need to add? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the download arrow so they just automatically come in and you'll get all the shows. They'll be ready to go wherever you're at. Anything else we need to say, Brandon?
I think that's it.
So what if we say go Hawks?
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Woo.